Today we have 34 members. That's 31 members in the house, with the people on, including the people on.
Since as we speak about information, I was thinking about what kinds of things inspire me. Usually I get inspired by what other people do. It could be an artist, could be an athlete. My church, inspired by acts of kindness, acts of generosity, philanthropy. And I enjoy watching somebody with special skill, like, for example, on TV. I don't see too much imitation of that anymore. Or a craftsman. And one of my favorite shows on television is This Old House. You know, and I get to watch people do smart work, and they know the trade secrets. So enjoyed doing that. This past weekend, I volunteered for a fellow member who's a carpenter, and he was working with an Eagle Scout on building part of the Allen books. Stage of this will prepare some of the materials for that. And in fact, it was to make A-shaped. A-shaped. Wait for that, but anyway. So I brought my drill. I had to go home. I guess your connection came back. Chris told me that the other thing I really needed was the clue.
No, not me.
And there were different rules. One dramatically leaning, I think probably brand new tool, but rather dangerous looking. And two was to let the scout who conceived this project direct the project as much as possible, and let the other two Eagle Scouts who were there and their dad do as much of the project as possible. So my role in this turned out to be very well defined, which was I got to stand around and watch other people work. This is perfect. Right. Number one, I really enjoyed doing that. And number two, so it was a pleasure to watch Chris when he taught these people, because he would show them some of the tools, tricks of the trade about how to drill, like you want to plant it, or a hole in there. You don't want to start by drilling. You got to drill a hole in first, then turn your drill this way. Otherwise, it jitters down the board and mars the surface. It was evident that most of the scouts hadn't, at least to my eye, hadn't had a lot of experience with power tools, or if they had it, a while ago or something. Chris showed them how to do things, and then stepped out of the way, taught them enough for them to be able to scouts were doing most of the drilling, most of the screwing of large screws into these 2x3s that we were working with. And we were encouraging. He taught them with humor, as you might imagine. Showed them some technique for making precise measurements and precise, so that all five of these struts would be the same, basically. It was so later. And I agreed that we had learned ourselves quite a few things. Inspired to join another project. I'd like to join another project with Chris if I can, and perhaps one that involves a little more perspiration and not just observation. Anyway, thank you.
So I'm gonna bring up Elizabeth, that speaker chair. Good morning.
Morning. Morning, everyone.
Morning.
I'm back. And I'm pleased to introduce Eric Axelrod as our speaker this morning. Eric is the founder of Wood4Good, which, according to the back of his shirt, has been warming hearts and warming homes since 2019. In the recruiting industry for over 30 years, he founded Wood4Good as a way to teach his sons the value of service and higher purpose. What began as a simple idea has since grown into a registered 501c3 nonprofit in 2021. Since then, we've been expanding in Vermont, and that's what Eric's here to talk about today. So welcome, Eric.
Hi, everyone.
Morning.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here. It's been a while since I've been there to talk to you guys about what we're doing, and yeah, many years and lots of projects and have passed, and Wood4Good continues to grow. I'll let you get that queued up.
Yep.
So on the cover here, I'll start talking about it, and then we'll get that queued up. So this is an MMU advisory. So every year, I think most high schools in Chittenden County have like day of service, and we've had two and as many as 3 advisories come out, which is basically like a group of kids that between freshman and senior that all come together and learning about the ways of the school, and then they also have the day of service every year. So this was my son's advisory that came out. That's the group of them. They split about probably 12 chords that day around, so that was pretty cool. Next slide, please. So 2 things. So we make communities stronger, and that starts with increasing heat security for Vermont families in need. So that basically creating a feeling of safety, or trying to create a feeling of safety that folks have something they can count on when you're in. I think equally important in our cause is building community by bringing people together in the act of service and helping Vermonters in our community for our homes. So those are the 2 things I mentioned. So how we operate. First of all, this is Evan. He's an AmeriCorps volunteer. He's given a 300-hour service project. Actually interrupted, but fortunately he was able to come back. They figured out the funding, but he's been a huge help for us this summer. And this is him pushing around. It's like probably like a 250-pound log that we split with our big log splitters. Anyway, so how do we get our wood? So we have 2 sources of wood at this point. Primarily, there's 2 tree services. One of them is a Barrett Save a Tree, and then teachers bring us the vast majority of our firewood. And then we also get some wood from the state, and they promised us about 100 cords this year, which is triple what they gave us last year. That's a big increase. That's coming from state-run forests that they manage in selective clearing. So we're nearly 100% volunteer run. Our operations happen in Jericho. That's where all the processing happens. So we're out there, cutting, splitting, and we season the firewood there. And then we deliver the wood using our trucks. We have 2 trucks. Chris is, I don't know, maybe if you delivered 50 cords for us, a lot of loads to families in need for the cause. And so we deliver it in the summer and the fall, and then we save. At this point, we're saving about 20 or 30 cords for emergency families, things like broken furnaces or for whatever happens for folks who fall on tough times. Oops, one back. So why what we're doing matters. 40% of Vermonters rely on firewood for heat. Maybe not entirely, but that's the number is 40%. They use wood, right? So that may not be like for their full heat source, but yeah. So that they need, like the state provides typically 1 cord of firewood if people qualify. for example, people have lost their jobs, they look for last income, and they don't actually qualify. And for people who burn wood or have burned wood, only one square of firewood, that might only be, maybe a month or 6 weeks of heating in the winter time. So we're serving we're helping an underserved population, rural households that fall through the cracks. And the cost of firewood has surged since we when we first started working, seeing, cords of firewood going $250, and now on a regular basis in the winter time, firewood's going for as much as $550 a quart. So that's a real big impact, especially for seniors on fixed income. So half of our recipients are elderly Vermonters, many living at home, struggling to stay through the winter, to stay warm through the winter. A lot of folks we bring wood to keep their heat at 50 degrees. That's a real thing, and we see it on a regular basis where they just simply don't have the money and they're sitting in their house with jackets on. And we also, like I mentioned, we support families who are facing hardship and help them through those tough times. Like often we'll bring wood to a family 1 year or 2 years, but then they say, hey, I'm back on my feet. Thank you so much for helping us. And then one of the it's the stories of impact that move us to do more. And a lot of times we're bringing wood to elderly folks who are fighting cancer, or their wife is fighting cancer, and they can't work. And so financially they can't keep their house warm. And so that, maybe they're getting food and they're getting medicine, through the state or through social support services, but they're not able to keep their house warm. So they're suffering in that way. So the expansion. So when we first started, when I spoke to you in 2021, we were serving just Chittenden County. And that's reasonable. That's, a 30-minute drive from the woodlot. And what we've been able to innovate since that time is additional Wood4Good pods, where we found locations that we could bring wood to, and then volunteers at those locations who could then distribute it further afield. So the locations that we have firewood at is Jeffersonville, Middlesex, and the third location is St. Albans. So we've been able to expand our coverage from the Canadian border south to Addison, with the help actually of a firewood service down there. So we're actually covering a good portion of Addison, and then all the way east through Middlesex and Payson into we even serve some areas like Montpelier, and we even brought a load of firewood to Berlin, and then north into the Northeast Kingdom. So we're really serving like the whole circle of the Northeast. And the pod system is working out really great, and we've brought 100 cords of firewood to fields this year alone. So that's for the interesting thing that most of you probably recognize, Chittenden County being the wealthiest county in the state. As we get further out, there's more and more families in need, and so consequently, the impact that firewood has is significant. So goals for Wood4Good. So we want to continue expanding our capabilities at our main lot in Jericho. This year, we're going to increase production at least 20% year over year. The goal is to help 1.2 cords per family. And so we're hoping to continue that expansion because there is always greater need. So we only bring 1.2 cords per family. We could always bring more. Sometimes families beg us for more, but there's more people who need wood than we actually have. So we know we have to stop there. But hopefully at some point, for the families who need more, that we'll be able to help them more. And the eventual goal here is to serve the entire state. This work has driven me to find ways to help more people. As we build it, as the infrastructure gets larger, we're able to recognize how pronounced the need is, especially just outside of Chittenden. Yes.
Quick question, how are families identified?
Yeah,
They
so
come to you, or is there agencies that?
so we advertise a lot with like food banks,
Mhm.
and we also use Front Porch Forum, but at this point it's really a word of mouth thing because there is more need. We've been fortunate to receive a lot of news coverage, And so like when people actually Google firewood, like we come up pretty high in that list. So there is lots of individuals like who can't afford it. Right. So how do we get to that? Yes.
I would just piggyback on that, saying that Meals on Wheels might be a great way to find out about people that need, families that need, wood, because they have individuals going to these houses.
Yeah.
Through your AAA, your area agency on aging, on every county has one, that if you communicated with them, they probably have ways of helping. They probably know a lot of people that need.
That's a great idea. So we actually reached out to them before and we never got anyone from them, but I think that we should be more direct because a lot of times it has to get into the right person's hands and that they are touched, you know, so like a little card, it's like when you drop off the food, that's a great idea. So exactly. Yeah. Cool. Any other questions? So, we want to serve the whole state. And so the goal is initially to establish one new productive lot per year, a reasonable expansion plan. And ostensibly what we'll do there is we found the production yard already in the Mad River Valley, so already have the spots. Now we need the funding to be like a 20-hour-a-week person to man that. But we can share our equipment, which is a really cool thing, is that we have enough equipment that we can send equipment there, let them use it for like 6 weeks, produce their firewood, and then also share our trucks. So that would be the cool thing as we identify like production sites, like at least in the immediate area, that we'll be able to share the equipment that we already own so that we can, you know, help more people. Like, you know, as you go south of the Mad River Valley, there's a lot of folks who have asked us for help that we just can't get to. Actually, we firewood more than 50 miles. That's the law of how far the wood can go from the productive yard. And after we do that, the goal would be to establish individual yards. Like we have a spot in Danville that's been identified at a pole barn there, so we could serve like the St. Johnsbury area. Yeah, that's the goal. So how can Rotary help us? So we need a lot of non-physical help and physical help. So a lot of folks say, well, I can't help you. I can't put fire with this. That's too much. But there's all sorts of things that we can help with. Things like community outreach, volunteer coordination, project management. And then in addition, there's all sorts of like small things that need to be managed in the organization. So what I would ask is, you know, if you know folks, friends, family who might be interested in helping us, we really need as many people as we can. A lot of our volunteers tend to be transitory, so they come and then they work really hard for like 6 months and then they do another project, which is awesome. But we always are in need of new volunteers to keep the wheels greased, if that makes sense. And then the other thing is we've been very successful in setting up business and corporate volunteer days. And now that I'm taking over as executive, before I was just entirely volunteering my time, and I've transitioned to that role right now. I can do weekday volunteer days. So if any of you work for companies that have like corporate volunteer days, we'd love to host and bring some folks together and do some cool stuff. And yeah, and also if you guys would like to come out, we'd love to have Williston Rotary join us. And there is easier stuff. There's not, you know.
Yeah, that 150. Yeah. Yeah, I can do that.
That's okay. Yeah, so like we do all sorts of stuff, like so folks can put wood onto the conveyor. That's each job. Then we roll bundles. We actually sell firewood. It pays for approximately half cost on a yearly basis, so it's significant. Like we could make about $5,000 a year in firewood bundles. So that's pretty cool profit or way to pay for our fuel. Yeah, that was flowing during the COVID year right there. So he's still out there helping the kids still do it. And it is a family affair for us. If you check out our website, since the beginning, my kids, that was the reason I started it, that we wanted to help my kids learn about higher purpose and being involved in something bigger than themselves. And they definitely have learned that it's hard to get them out now because they're teenagers, but they still come and they don't really complain. They love to do farmers markets. That's their thing that they're into now. Next slide, please. Yeah, so momentum is building for our cause. We've had well over 100 new volunteers join us this year, which is really significant. That was more than the last 2 years combined in terms of new volunteers. And that's partially because I'm able to support the weekday volunteering. And, I want to say a word of thanks. So all the Chittenden County Rotaries got together in, I think it was 22, and wrote a grant that was matched by the district. Yes. And so, it did two things for us. I forget the exact number of money that it raised, but all that stuff helped to build credibility, when we go out and we're trying to get publicity, those kind of things were really, really significant in people kind of recognizing that we're at the next stage for leveling up, and that there's a lot of people who are, really suffering. We see folks who, just two stories. One, a guy was literally burning his own furniture in his home. Like he was that cold. Another family, 2 days away from running out of wood at all times. He got sick, couldn't get out, just with the flu, and then he couldn't leave his house. And he called me with an emergency in like March, and so we were out and we're able to help that family. And then so many of the cancer patients and stuff. So we really have a significant impact on folks in need. And for the first time ever, our wood supply is steady, which is amazing. We don't have to worry about that part. It's really just about getting the pieces of the puzzle together to help more families in need. That's just the last photo here. This is I'm in a men's group, and so it wasn't actually all the folks out that day. We had about 40 people out, and we did in one day over 20 cords of firewood. So that was pretty cool to have that, have them join, have that impact. Anyway, I'm complete with the presentation. Any questions? Go ahead, Sally.
So I just have a couple. One is, we stayed down, we specifically asked for parents. And we specifically asked them to bring me the wood, which they did.
Yes.
I have had people say to me, we're getting trees taken down, I don't know what to do with it. I tell them what to do with it. But as you pointed out, it needs to be parents or teachers.
Yeah, those are the two companies the other ones don't have like logging trucks.
Right.
And so the Barrett's actually, teachers, they only bring us, they don't have a logging truck either, but when they have a big job, they'll send the logging truck with trees our way. But Barrett's is, I just call them like you're being paid. I call them. I'm like, I'm almost out of wood. And then within a day, there's another load of firewood there.
The other thing is that I'm in charge of volunteers for the hotel, and I will get on volunteer website groups who wanted to do group volunteering, and we can't handle it at our hotel. But I am now, I made myself a note. I'm now going to refer them to you.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I think I want to just stress the point of the non-physical work. Because everybody who comes tends to be a man who wants some physical work. Every once in a while we have women who come, which is awesome. But I think people kind of back themselves out without recognizing that, we need infrastructure work to support the thing that I'm trying to manage. Yeah, go ahead.
Just two questions. One is, have you figured out a way to let the wood ice one in between?
Oh, yeah, 100%. So all
Yeah.
the wood sits.
I'm sorry, the people at home can't hear, so if you could either repeat the question or give the mic to the person who's asking the question, sorry.
Yeah, no,
Getting.
So the question was, do we season the wood? And the answer is yes, we do. And so we're processing wood right now for 26 or 26, 27, right? So the wood that we're putting up right now is for next year.
And the other question is, I mean, wood is getting more expensive. Is that being driven by need and there's just not enough of it, or people are still trying to find out where you can get it?
So that's a great question. So being a firewood producer and running a wood bank, I recognize that there is absolutely no money in this business. The amount of infrastructure and equipment that we have is ridiculous. And like, even if we were selling it, like we wouldn't make money. Maybe like make 25. So people who are doing it, like are doing it as like, you know, to make some little side hustle or whatever. But it's just, I expect it to go higher. I mean, to be frank, is like, I see with the expenses and, you know, a lot of our, you know, we have 2 trucks, 8 log splitters, heavy equipment, and we need that equipment to run the wood yard. Like, we just couldn't do it at the scale we're at right now without it.
I think they were saying that it's hard getting them now, just getting wood
Yeah.
delivery so that they can cut it up.
Yeah, no one, oh, you mean just raw wood?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the mills, yeah, so that's another problem is that because the winters have been so warm, fireweed cutters can't get the wood out of the forest. They even fell the wood. And that is really rippling through where, you know, raw wood, like just logs are costing as much as $2.25 a cord just for the log. So how do you figure out how to make profit, you know, deliver it for 400 after you process them, trucked it out there? Go ahead.
You had mentioned about the bundles.
Yes.
Is that something for like, if people are camping, like a small, sure, and where can you get those?
Yeah, so the bundle wood. So we make bundles and it is used for camping and other purposes. Like, we actually sold all our bundles out when the power goes out. You know, that's one of those things, you know, it's like people don't have wood around and they buy all the bundles. But yeah, in the summertime, we sell most of them, but you'd actually be surprised because there's so many Airbnbs now that people want to have a little fire in their fireplace. And so where we sell them, we have them in Cambridge and Jericho. At the village store. We also sell them at the Essex Center Beverage next to Price Chopper, and also at the Lucky Spot in Richmond. So those are our main. Oh, and also in Cambridge at the there's 2 places in Cambridge. One at the general store, and then also at the Jeffersonville, the sandwich store across from the mobile there. Yeah.
So is that on your website, those locations, or?
No, I don't actually have it on the website. That'll probably be a good
All right.
idea.
I'll
Thanks, Pete.
remember.
Yeah. What, do you have a question?
I had a comment.
Yes.
No, I know, Eric, well, you say it.
I don't have a question.
Oh, I was gonna comment that I've been out there working and I've seen children as young as 7 and 8 years old, young women working with their moms. So if anybody's thinking there's nothing I can do to help, you stress that. And I'm not speaking into the mic, but there is work for people that don't think if you can pick up a piece of fire, you can help.
Yeah, I'll just say that for the folks at home, so hear that, is that, you know, Chris basically commented that he's been seeing like young kids, and we've had many
Kids actually have the weed blows out, you know, and we like focus them on like, hey, just stack some wood. You're helping families, right? So it's like we keep them away from the dangerous equipment. So if there are opportunities, whether it's in the scouts or other things, that individuals can come out, we would love to welcome them. Thank you. Thank you.
First of all, in gratitude for you speaking today, we'll make a donation to the Williston Central School Veteran Program. So we have a little thank you card for you.
Thank you.
We raffle it
Amazing.
and then read the last 3 numbers.
313.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very late.
Thank you so much for telling us about your amazing work, Eric. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so I'm gonna bring up Walter, got an announcement, and then we're gonna hit Andy for club talk.
Folks could make sure they hold the microphone to their mouth. That would really help. Imagine that.
Said about, youth and literacy. I'll be chairing this committee this year, and just go over some basic things. One is that, the town and the school libraries are involved, and that, we, usually provide about $1,500 for, total to all the books and so forth. The two town libraries get $500 each. And the librarians, will let Rotary know projects, books and kits, they would like. And we request that they visit the club and show our investments, show how the investment has been used. We usually set aside another $300 to $350, either through, Scholastic or the new bookstore that is being built right now. The mentoring program at W is run by, Becky Martell. And, as you saw today, that, speakers are given a certain amount of money every time they come to speak, and it's given to the mentoring program. And we usually set aside about $100, I think, so that, students can buy books that go along with the themes that the mentoring program is doing that year. Also, in the past, we have donated $100 so students could purchase, books towards yearly themes. Friends of the Library, every year during, before July 4th celebration, we are committed to fill 4 boxes to distribute to Williston and Richmond students. Thanksgiving gift, families in Richmond. Care of each year, and of November. Ryla Elizabeth, I hope you'll continue to work on this, has been in charge, a committee to interview candidates as needed. And then there's a speech contest, lead person and judges needed, and CCSD Theater has offered to help if we contract them in September. The issues that have come up are things like not letting people know ahead enough so that they can actually prepare and make it part of their curriculum. And teachers don't like to be surprised in the middle of the year with new ideas from other people that doesn't fit into the curriculum. And basically, October is too late. The committee is needed to, we need a committee and somebody to lead it. And it has about $3,000 worth of scholarships attached to it. So those are the big things. And then the other thing is, Elena and Chris have started building libraries, and that's, you know, we'd like to see that continue on. So that's kind of like a whole scope of what's going on in general. And I would ask that people volunteer. You can probably the easiest way to do is just email me and say you'd like a particular to work in this, please let me know, and I'm sure we could put that up. And I will be the assistant for anybody who's outside, you can work out that area, and I would be your, or I would take the lead if you can make a move in it. So that's kind of the way I see it work. And next week, we'll talk about that.
Let me put Walter on the spot. Don't mean to, but have you decided when you're gonna have your first meeting and whether it's gonna be on Zoom or whether it's gonna be like here at the club?
I would like to start next week.
Okay.
Right after the program.
Okay,
For
so,
this stuff, chance to talk together.
yeah, so if people online didn't hear, Walter would like to start the youth and education committee team next week, right after the meeting. So, so I've asked Andy to do the club talk this week. So club talk, as you remember, replaces the Rotary Minute. It is still about our club, but one of the things that people have said, and I think we've done it maybe a couple years ago, was they don't.
Yeah, that's.
Did Andy plan?
Yeah.
So, some people have asked, they don't really know where the documents are stored on the website. So all of our business meeting notes are on the website. A lot of the team meetings that people have are now on the website. So Andy will go through briefly and show you where it is and how to access them.
Thank you, Vince. Either way.
Okay.
Okay, so hopefully everybody knows we have, it's maintained by a few people. If you don't see something you think we should put on there, contact Vince, Susan, or me generally. Otherwise, when you go onto our website, you come in, this will be what it will look like. So if I'm going to do anything, I'm up at the top here in the member area, and I select that. And I'm not that great with a computer and a mouse and scrolling, so you're gonna have to bear with me. What's the best way to scroll? All right, we'll scroll down, especially while I'm holding a microphone.
Okay, could you move over to the member area? So go up just a little more.
That's what you just did. Right?
He's on site administrator, so you could
Oh.
move to members, so it's what the members will see.
Membership?
Nope,
Nope.
right here.
Oh, yeah, I see. Right, okay,
This is what you guys will see.
okay.
I've never seen that. Welcome. So it's all the same stuff, just in a different setup. And all it means is you wouldn't have editing capabilities. So if we're looking at the color things across, obviously you can read with me, but if you want to know what your commitments, attendance, past bulletins, member activity, account balance, all that kind of stuff. Today, Vince wanted to talk a little bit about where documents. So in here also, everybody in the club is listed. If you're looking for a name or an address or a phone number, you can find that if we have time. Maybe we can do that today or a different time. But let's go into club documents. So I'm just going to these up so that you can kind of get a better overview. All of that up. And then we'll come into it backwards. Okay, so we're all familiar with roll downs and stuff. So basically it looks like we have four kind of main headings here. So let's suppose you wanted to find the board meeting minutes from a meeting 3 months ago. So out of these choices, I would come in and I say, well, I want to see what the board is doing. We pay them so much money and they're so hard at work. What are they doing for us? All right, so we get a drop down and we've got things like minutes, miscellaneous, policies, etc. So we were going to come in and we just wanted to check out the minutes. What's the board up to at any particular meeting? Just scroll down a little bit, we get to something that says 2025, maybe there. Thank you. Yeah, let's just pick a random one. March 27th, the minutes of the meeting. So then you'll see that we go to your upload. And then you just click open. And you can read all about the minutes of May 27th, 2025. So all the minutes are posted, I believe within 30 days, or we're supposed to put them up 20 or 30 days after every meeting. So easy peasy. Minutes are now going back at least 2 years. So we can just close that guy. And then we'll roll it. Let's roll the minutes back up here. We'll go up. And Policies, we talked, last year, about attendance policies and requirements. I can't remember what they are. So here we go. Click on it, it'll go to the download and boom. Easy peasy, everything is right there. Again, if there's a document or something that you think we should post to this so that everybody has access, that's awesome. So we'll close that guy out.
So,
Vince.
so if anybody, and again, this is maybe somebody who's not as efficient in Word, if you want to save any of those docs that's now uploaded to the computer, you can obviously save them on your own drive. They won't be official. The official ones will be on this website. If you want to access something continuously, you can always have it.
Yeah, so the idea is always having access. What has been recently created this morning without authority, I went in and I put up a new folder called Teams, formerly known as committee folders. So if you are a committee chair or you're on a committee and you want to know what's going on in your committee, you can now come here and I'm just going to roll that guy up again. So yeah. So bottom line is you will now see for each of our teams, fundraising, grants and donations, membership, PR, Rotary Foundation service. We can put anything any chair of a team wants in here. I'm not sure that there's any there being upgraded and redeveloped, but when you want to know what's going on, there you have
If
it.
you go to fundraising,
Let's go to fundraising. Yes, Lisa. If you don't, we can get you authority. Just reach out to Vince or me, and we'll do that. So fundraising. Sorry, thank you for helping scroll up.
What do you want?
If you're on, so we're looking at the fundraising, the drop down. Let's pick one. Pick a donor acknowledgement letter. People want to know. I want to thank a donor. I've got something coming, so you click on it. It will download. You just click on it. Dear, thank you. So this is generally a template letter that I send out as treasurer for every donation that we get. I personalize them if appropriate. Otherwise, this is just an example, but you too have access to it if you want. So we'll close out and other letter, spreadsheets, all that kind of stuff. So there are a lot of things. There are a lot of things here.
I have a question.
Yes,
On
Jan.
the letter, are we able to edit like the donor name and whatnot, the date, because it's a template?
I
Yeah.
think it comes in as a Word document.
Yeah, it comes in as Word, so you can download it
You
and
can.
change it.
save it to
Yeah.
your own drive.
Yeah, you save it to your drive and then change.
You want to go somewhere? That's
PR.
PR.
PRT. Yep. PRT.
Yep.
Go. We gotta drop down. Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay.
What would you like to see?
There's some minutes in
Show
there.
the Logos there, if anybody
Yeah.
needs a logo for anything they're doing.
There it is. And so see, it comes up here. This is your download, if you're not familiar with what happens. So you can, then you click on, one of these and then you can download it. You can actually save it on your own computer.
Once you open it up.
Once you
there.
open it up.
Right, so you
okay.
click on it, you don't see anything. In the upper right side of your computer screen will be the download. Click on it, and as you saw, the history of the last 3 documents that we downloaded is right there.
Yeah.
So maybe one more question if anybody has
Yeah.
a question. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Back.
Yeah, Leslie with a question.
Oh, I got rid of the whole thing. Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry, Leslie, speak to us.
My question is, I understand that there's a new, I'm using the word club runner coming down the pike. Will the information that we upload into Club Runner easily be then uploaded to the new format?
Yes, so
We hope.
I'll talk real briefly on Nova. So there's a couple of us that are looking at Nova right now, and it's still in beta. And I talked to one of the technicians. Once you transition over to beta, you can't transition back. So we want to make sure that we have all the capabilities. The beta doesn't have absolutely 100% of what's currently available in the new one, but I think there's just some odd, outliers that they haven't totally put on site. So I'm actually having Sherry as secretary, and Andy and myself, and we'll have Susan. Just make sure that we look through it, and anybody else who'd really like to go in, there's a sandbox. So we're playing with it, want to make sure that it is a better experience for you guys. That really is the only goal of why we go to Nova. Is if things are a little easier, they might not be easier, but if they're at least saying that's good. Sure.
We're gonna. What point anyway? When I read.
Yeah, because they won't support it.
Yeah, so but again, it's, do we want to go early while it's still in beta? So it's the question. So
Bill-
I am.
Bill has a question.
Yeah, Bill, good morning.
Yes, I'd like to know if you have a way to easily find out who the committee chairs are and who the committee members are. It seems to me that sometimes you really need to know that, or you'd like to know that. And I don't see it as an easy way to find it on Club Runner, and I'm wondering if you've given any thought to that. Thank you.
Morning, I put all the committees on there. We closed out the website, so I can't give you a quick visual, but all committees are there. I copied in the descriptions of the committees, and on fundraising, because Chris sent out a nice newsletter committee and the chair. So if we had time permitted, I'm happy to come back and do it another time. Bill, if you look, it's there under committees.
Yeah, so also in the visioning, somebody asked that they wanted to see an org chart. And the org chart is beyond the board because the board's already kind of on the website. So I do plan to make org charts for each of the committees. I haven't gotten to it yet, so I need to reach each team later about who's on board. We'll put a little org chart under yours and then have a master org chart somewhere. That's if people want to see it. Charlie?
Yeah, you put links to the recordings of the meetings on the website, so we can use the website to find what got said in last week's meeting.
I don't know. But that's a kind of a two-part question. Hopefully everybody knows that every meeting that we have is on our YouTube site. Okay, and when you look on the website or in the bulletin, underneath the person's name, like Eric's, they just did today, when that gets posted, it'll actually have his video. So already lists for each of the ones under there. So I think that's the first answer. I don't know if we can do a link. I'll take a look at that. I got your question to make it easier because you might just migrate to docs. So I'm gonna bring up Chris. Any other quick?
So I just brought up the YouTube channel. So if you go, here's where all of our videos live. Okay, and you can see Vince has put nice thumbnail things to help you remind you of who the speaker was. Any of those, and you can listen, watch and listen. Okay.
Yeah, and it goes back to whenever we started this, maybe, I think that started in 2022. So all of our meetings are on the website.
Yep.
Which also helps Eric.
Yeah,
Because,
see there, lots and lots and lots of them.
because I put your name here and a little bit of description in there, and if you actually Google your name, you'll probably get the link to YouTube on our website about your.
And I could link it off my website, the YouTube video.
We would appreciate that.
Yeah. Send more people.
All right, let's do some lines. I gotta pick on Pastor Paul for a second here, and you can't answer this. What do you call a male vicar that becomes a father-in-law?
Oh.
Down here. Cal, morning, okay, start down here, you're not under speaker. Yeah.
Morning. One for our awesome and Wood4Good folks. Just really important stuff, especially where it gets really cold, just to get colder in the winter. How much for Tracy to put up with you dragging her here this morning, everybody and you know people. So, yeah.
Morning, I have three finds. One, for the speaker with good, program. We heated with wood when I was growing up, and I used to tell my father I was gonna be 18 before I realized my first name was Get the Wood. And he always threw the joke after that. He said, "Well, what's your middle name?" That's not fun. The other is, I have, some, you may know, my left knee celebrated its 87th birthday recently. And, I've been going to the ortho people. I actually brought Lucy along with me because I got sick of trying to translate what he was saying when I get home to my doctor wife. So I brought her, and she got to ask a whole bunch of questions. It went really well. I do think she got a little jealous. They put me in the room. They didn't take my blood pressure. They didn't ask if I felt safe. That. And then the third is a thank you fine for a man who just passed away, David Bergen, who's a political operative. He was served both the Reagan administration and the Clinton administration, and something of a kind of a political hero of mine. He said he wasn't a moderate, he was centrist, because moderate split the difference, more about just trying to find solutions. I saw him in a restaurant in New York City once when he was waiting for his table, and we were leaving. And I said, "No, that's David Gergen. I'm gonna go say hi." And everybody, who the hell is David Gergen? I went up and actually had a really nice, pleasant conversation with him, and I explained to the people who he was, and and the response back was, "Well, thank God we didn't run in any writers from Star Trek." You would have been all over those nerds too.
Nice. So Get the Wood was your nickname? Mine was Come Here, Dad.
So, I have a dollar thing here coming again. I always love it when you come. And I remember the first time you came about the place, which was selfly wonderful. $1 for our guests. It's always great to see new faces here, and we hope to come back. And the rest of the money goes to the baseball mix-up that's going on. The All-Star is over. The trades are happening. The Red Sox are starting to look different. We knew they were going to trade people out, but I really didn't think they were going to let Joanne go. So anyway, we'll see what happens.
First off, thank you to Eric, our speaker. Really great work to see it growing so steadily and well. It's wonderful. I want Charlie and everyone to know there is a link to our YouTube channel on the website. If you go there and scroll down and look at the left side of the home page, there's a link. You click on it, it'll take you right to all of the recordings that we have of our meetings. And then last, I want to acknowledge someone who does some work every week, but maybe we don't always notice it. And that's Sally at the end of the meeting, the work that she does to clean up and take away the compost, a big task every week that maybe doesn't go noticed. So thank
Where is it? I'm on the page. Where is it? There it is. Yep, right here. That's fine. Yeah, so I went to the same page that I went to before. Okay.
All right. Why do ghosts like elevators? Lift their spirits.
Oh,
That's actually, that's actually pretty good. So, well, I guess I had my first challenge. I had my first challenge of the year, probably personal challenge. And so, as many of you know, when I say hi in the morning, and they ask me how I'm doing, I usually say excellent or awesome. So I said hi to Ed, and he said, "Oh, he's good." So I said, how do I make you excellent, Ed?" He said, "Well, you can come over and help do a cross-examination. Okay, so that probably isn't gonna be what it is, but I have 11 months to work to figure out how to make Ted excellent in the morning. Second was for Eric. I guess.
Right there with you, brother.
Second is for Eric. Great presentation. Glad you're. We could have asked 1,000 more questions, and hopefully we can get a team together, whether it's a little later, when it's cooler, to be able to do something. The third is for Tracy. So thank you for coming to our meeting. Yes. We enjoyed having you here. I had a little chance to talk to you, not too often, but or not too much, but thank you. The fourth is football dollar. Training camp is going to be open in a couple days, so I'm excited.
Great, thanks. Why do so many sailors not know the alphabet? No, they keep getting lost at sea.
Those are pirates. Those are pirates. You were the.
So speaker, I have $1 here for Eric for giving such a good speech. I think it's going to get you some financial donations and nothing else. Maybe somebody will come out and help lift some wood. All for the Red Sox too. The last time I checked, we're doing pretty good, although this week was kind of quiet. And $1 for Chris for being the source of my inspiration. I didn't know when we were working on that project that that's what it would be about, but it became clear to me later. So thank you very much for that. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Do I get to keep the money?
That's up to you, I think.
Let's go over here. Marty, you're under speaker, but you can try where you are. How's this? Is this right? Eric. Wonderful talk. Excuse me. Wonderful work. And in terms of how people feel in the morning, I used to work with a guy who, sorry for slipping through.
You're on my team.
I'll make it through. Whenever you ask this fellow, how are you? His answer was invariably, pretty good, not too good. So anyway, that's. Thank you. Pass it over your face.
So $2. One is both kind of related. Last week I wasn't here because my husband and I went to Columbus, Ohio to visit one of our 6 children. And we're there when she had the home inspector meet with her to talk about the new
There will be a lecture and there's some students who are performing. So if you want to go to a free concert, which is local, go to the Brick Church, 1 o'clock tomorrow.
All right. Sherry, inevitably. Here you go.
I had to write. Very good. So Wood4Good, thank you. We have a sugar bush and we use wood and I know it's a lot of work, but I also know that, with the type of equipment available, if you have the right equipment, even I can help. So it shouldn't hold anybody back from helping out. I want to thank you and great work, and I want to encourage you to apply for this next. And I'll reach out to you with that application and make sure you stay on top of it. Potentially my last day as secretary, maybe. We'll see, but Jason is, stepping in and I think he's gonna do a fantastic job. We were in Maine last weekend and, I saw the Rotary people, they were on the street corner selling raffle tickets. They had a $30,000 to $40,000 fundraiser. They were raffling off a Lexus, car. And their club is about similar size to ours. They just had a 5K race. York, Maine.
Who donated?
They made upward of $40,000 on their 5K, and they anticipate making about $30,000 off of their raffle for the Lexus. But just showing you the small location. Everything, but
It's a raffle.
so years and years ago, the club bought a motorcycle that they could afford, and then as the years have gone on, they gradually, so years, I don't know how many years later, but now they're at
Nice.
So, and that's all.
Thank you. All right, sounds like we're gonna two-wheel right here.
Yep.
Anybody online? All right, when is it time to replace your vacuum cleaner? When it starts collecting dust.
Oh, when it doesn't. So.
So before I ring the bell, there is a board meeting in about 10 minutes. It takes about an hour. Members are invited if you want to join.
Do you need Zoom for that?
We do not need Zoom for that.
Okay.
It is right here. Like right here. No, so we're right here. I'm gonna ring the bell.